Hello, beautiful people. It is my pleasure to be with you again on this series. I want to appreciate every one of you who has been able to go into the YouTube channel to like, to share, and not only to like and share, but to subscribe and also watch the videos we are bringing live to you people. It is my utmost pleasure, and I cannot tell you people how happy I am. I welcome you to another series, and you would not imagine what we are up to this time. This time, we're going to be talking about something so important that will catch your attention, and I want everyone to jump on board. Please share your ideas, share your thoughts with me as we get on this journey. So, our topic for this series, you want to guess? So, like I said, I am so excited to introduce this new series. And on this new series, guess what we are going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about marriage without borders. A lot of people, or most people, like talking about marriage. Some people are still hoping and praying to get into marriage. God bless those who are already married and enjoying a happy marriage life. Oh, some people feel so different and indifferent about the topic based on their past experiences. And that is why I said three previous videos, especially on trauma, will be a good solution for that. So, with that said, what are we going to be talking about? Marriage is vast. Marriage is a wide topic to talk about. People have their own ideas, people have their own solutions when it comes to marriage. But why did I title it Marriage Without Borders? The reason why I titled it Marriage Without Borders, or the reason why I titled this series Marriage Without Borders, is simply because a lot of us immigrants get married, or most of the times we married, and things do happen in life and we are prompted to move. We are either moving from one city to another, or we are moving from one country to another, or we are moving from one state to another. Have you ever paused to understand and to take note that when these changes are made, adjustment is needed? That when these changes are made, decisions and some things too are bound to change in the marriage. But do you also know that these changes might either make or destroy your marriage? That is what we want to talk about. So, on that note, you are welcome. Stay tuned with me as I take you on this journey. Thank you. Engaging in this series that I get to introduce today. After doing my research, this is what I came to realize. Research has proven that 40 to 60% of marriages that experiences changes in environment, be it country changes or state changes or just small changes, are bound to fail. In that research that was done, only 40% of marriages who experience changes turn to survive and tend to thrive, while almost 60% of marriages die away when those changes are being made. Now, the mystery I want us to look into is, why do these marriages tend to die? Why do these marriages tend to break up? Why do these marriages tend to face a lot of turbulence, and at the end they don't survive the turbulence? That is what I want us to talk about. So, with that said, I'm going to be bringing up some beautiful couples that are going to be sharing their experiences with us, that are going to be sharing their work with us, that are going to be sharing their journey with us, and through that, we are going to learn from them. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared to engage, to learn some lessons that can also turn your relationships, that can also turn your mentality for those who are still waiting to engage in marriage? Oh, for my beautiful ladies, maybe you're in Cameroon, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and you're waiting for your fiancé to leave abroad and come marry you so that you can then join them. I would like to show you, what do you do in that period of waiting? What do you do in that period of preparation? Because guess what? I was once in that situation, and now I get to share to you my journey about distance relationship and marriage and how I survived it. A couple of years ago, that should be 16 to 17 years ago, a little girl born in Cameroon happened to have been blessed, happened to have engaged in a relationship, happened to have fallen in love. But a lot of you will ask, but how do I get to survive distance? Not distance. When I talk of distance, it's not a kind of distance, that you can travel from Douala to Yaoundé, or you can travel a little bit from Benin to Accra State and you get to catch up with your fiancé and return. That was a relationship with one partner abroad and the other back home. Did I go through challenges? Yes. Was it a hard time? Yes. And one thing that you should know is the fact that the relationship started in a distance and it continued and continued until we finally had to meet. We are talking about marriage, and I want first of all to introduce us on the point of distant relationship and marriages. And why do I want to say that? In a world where life is so busy and we feel like the little challenge we face lands us to a point where we can call people names or we can betray each other, life tends to get difficult. But how can we maneuver those circumstances that we can still keep ourselves faithful to our relationships, that we can still be consistent with our relationships? I want you to understand that every relationship will thrive, number one, on the fear of God, number two, trusting each other, number three, communication, number four, learning to accept each other, and number five, for both parties to be willing to be committed in that relationship and to be committed to make it grow. Because when these five components are missing, then there is bound to be failure. Then there is bound to be a lot of challenges and turbulence that might make the marriages or the relationship end up not being successful. Why am I sharing my story about the distant relationships? Because a lot of our young ladies find themselves in that situation. At the end of the day, they feel like they were jilted. Now the man cannot come back to marry them, or the lady cannot come back to marry them. They tend to feel distrustful, and this leads on to other relationships. Why am I sharing my story today? They say a teacher teaches well based on experience, but sometimes experience is not the best lesson. But why am I bringing my story out? Because I do believe that from my own point of view and from me sharing my experiences, one or two persons out there will actually visualize themselves in my shoes and they'll be able to do better. Why are we talking about distant relationships? They are present, they will be, but how do we keep thriving in them? I've said a lot of things. Having faith. What was your agreement? Was that partner of yours based, or were your reasons of coming together based on God's purpose for your life? Very important. If the two of you, your purposes don't align, then you guys are walking in parallel lines that will never meet. But your purposes must align together. Number two, communication. We should be able to keep communication. Stay in communication. Is it phone calls? I remember there were times when I had to stay up late because I had to do video calls with my husband. Not because I really wanted to stay up late, because the time zones were different. Back home, they were like 6 or 8 hours time difference. So when he comes back from work, that's the time he has to call me. It might be 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night, but we kept that communication. We kept that line. That is what kept the fire burning. Number three, we talked about the interest, the love, and the commitment to make sure the relationship keeps thriving. Why am I saying so? If you love something, you will be committed to it. You will want to see it grow. You will want to put in the effort. You will want to put in your 100%. That means you will sacrifice. I'm not going to go about telling you all the sacrifices I made. There were times when I was labeled, I was called the abandoned wife because my husband had to stay overseas for almost 2 years before I finally had to join my husband. Those were moments of waiting, trying moments. But just I understood what I was going through. I understood the promise we had made to each other. So I could keep that journey moving. I could keep that relationship moving. Some people were like, oh, he's already married. Forget about it. You're wasting your time. I even had other people coming to propose for marriage. But my parents brought me up the right way. They brought me up in the fear of the Lord for me to understand and to know that once I've said yes to a man, then it stays yes. Then it stays yes. And we will learn to go through the thick and the thin. Now, when we go back to communication, what ways can you use to keep that fire burning? We spoke about calls. We spoke about you also expressing not only communication just to keep the fire burning, but how do you get to know who your partner is during that time? You share what you like to see in your marriage. You share what you know. Do you go back to get marital counseling? Do you seek counseling from your pastors? Do you go back to observe other married couples around you, how they do life and how life goes with them? I just want us to know this is just an introduction and a tip to our upcoming sessions as I bring you different couples sharing. Remember, it's going to be marriage without borders because here we are not going to base on one race or one ethnicity, but we are going to be going abroad to bring you many more couples. So thank you so much for listening. It is your own host, Mrs. Yvette Takwe, coming to you live on YouTube with live experiences and stories that will bring life to your environment and to your family as a whole. Thank you for having me, and don't forget, don't exit without liking, sharing, and also subscribing so that you'll be the first to know when we come live again. Thank you so much and have a beautiful week. Bye.